But whilst we're talking about friendships and relationships and stuff like that, we were talking about briefly about the same-sex relationship teaching in schools, which is going to be, let me see if I get this right. So I don't know when it's supposed to start, but essentially they're going to be teaching about same-sex relationships, LGBT type relationships, transgender in there, gay, lesbian, all that kind of stuff, relationships, and how would you describe it?
I would say
Actually,
they've come out recently saying that they want to introduce fixing up, jazzing up the sex education that we have in state education.
okay.
So what they want to do is start in primary school, explaining to children about love and respecting individuals, and letting them know that there's people that come from different families, and those families may be a mum and a dad, or a mummy and a mummy, or a daddy and a daddy,
Yeah.
or a grandma and kid, or an auntie and uncle, etc.
Yeah.
And saying that we have to love and respect everyone, and sort of understand that there's different family setups with the changing
Family
society
units, yeah.
now. So there's been a big petition signed by a lot of parents that are against it.
Okay.
The government is saying that it would be age appropriate, so they won't be talking about any physical sexual activity or anything like that. It will just be these families and relationships that you may see. We may have a pupil in the class, for example, that has two daddies, for example, and then it's going to be introduced step by step.
Right.
That's a new proposal.
Okay. So you're saying there's people who are contesting it and signing against it, parents exclusively. So I don't know if you mentioned this before, but you said it's compulsory to be.
They're saying it's going to be compulsory, but they haven't yet done the plan of what and how we teach and what age. And they was also saying it's depending on the schools.
Okay.
And I was thinking about them choosing when they teach it in primary school and how they do it. So it's all still in discussion at the moment, but it will be made compulsory.
Okay.
So for example, in Brighton, the gay capital of the UK, obviously there you would get a lot of gay families. So in that city, for example, that town, that'd be quite normal to see.
Okay. So
what
about?
They may introduce that, for example, a bit earlier, or the kids people already know. And like I feel like kids already know this stuff anyway. Kids pick up on love, they know what love is, they know, they can see, they can feel. So me personally, I agree with it.
Yeah.
I think education.
I know this is going to be.
I know this should be age appropriate.
Yeah.
I do think if parents are against it, they should have a right to take their child out of it. But once a child gets to high school, no child, in my opinion, should be taken out of sex education that they need for their adult life.
But surely, but hold on. But surely, before when they were doing sex education and they were doing it in secondary schools, I think, there was also a choice to opt out of that as well, right? And they still stayed in the school.
I think there is, yeah.
Oh, it's in religion. I didn't. So it doesn't. Oh, so it's not across the board.
Yeah, because I think before, like the religious schools had a lot of power based on the fact that they're a school of religion, Catholic or Church of England, for example.
Yeah.
You know, so they're going to be teaching that religion in school and those values in school.
Oh, so it will kind of conflict almost.
There was a bit of issue with in religious schools how it would go down. So I think this is why, as a whole, they're looking at it to rejoke it and what.
So would it be put in religious schools? Do you know?
It will have to be if it's compulsory. Religion is.
So if it's just to be clear, if it's compulsory, it'll be every type of school, every age mentions or whatnot, right?
As far as I'm aware, obviously private schools would be different because you're paying for the service. So.
Oh, so it's a state essentially.
State schools, yeah. Private schools are different because you pay to go there, so they may have different
Rules and stuff regarding that.
You know. And obviously, parents would have more rights to take their child out if they opt because they're paying for their.
When you mean out of the
out of
class,
the
right?
Relationship.
Class. Oh, right. I thought you meant out of the school for some reason. Yeah.
Participate in or listen to.
Okay. And do you feel that the people who have signed it, saying the 100 or however people sign it, do you feel that if they're hold on, let me see if I can phrase this rightly. So is the issue is because obviously you disagree with this, you said, about why would they sign to opt out of it, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I know there's a lot of people that are
Oh.
homophobic and don't agree with gay people and think that it's a mental illness.
Okay.
There are
So
people that are gonna feel strongly
right.
about
So you disagree with it essentially, right? So what I'm saying is, so is your you disagree with it? Does that mean that essentially you think that they're wrong because they are disagreeing with the premise of it, or do you think it's more of a blanket concept where they are a disagreement of all things? Basically, what I'm saying is, are you saying is it because they're doing it because they just disagree with same-sex relationship, and that's what all these people, why they've signed?
I don't know why they've signed exactly. Like you said.
But how would you interpret it, like you personally? Would you say
it's going to be a mixture. It's going to be people that, obviously, religious people may not want their children to know about sex whatsoever because they believe that we should have that in a marriage.
Okay.
Any physical activity like that. So the religious people,
Okay.
a high proportion will be against it for religious reasons.
Right, regions, yeah.
Obviously, they don't agree with the gay part, but the heterosexual part.
Right.
They don't want them to know nothing.
Okay, cool. All right.
So there'll be people with those views. There'll be people that are homophobic.
Yeah.
That have those views, and there may be people that feel that it's too young for their child to sort of have listen to this type of conversation.
Okay, so they're quite. So there's a few different reasons, obviously. Yeah, varied. So it's not going to be like everyone's just against it.
I just think that everyone has the right to protest. I think do your thing. That's you don't agree, do your thing peacefully. That's fine. But at the same time, we haven't been given what exactly is going to be.
Oh, so they're giving a bit of they're giving it more of a kind of ignorant because they don't even know what's going to be involved yet. Okay, I understand that.
Come out and say, look, we're talking about these, we're going to make it age appropriate. This is what we're going to say, and just from them things saying that you'll see these families exist. That to me they're facts. So whether this is made compulsory or if they didn't,
they'll still see it regardless.
Children are going to see it. Gay marriage has been legal since 2014 for same-sex people.
It's not long when I think about it, really, isn't it? It's only 5 years.
But
it's mad.
Gay sex has been legal since 1967.
I thought it's 64, innit?
64, 67.
Yeah, I thought it was 64, yeah.
So that's a long time.
Yeah.
So people know that
it exists. Like, they can't,
came into place a while ago as well. So it's also protecting, I think it will reduce bullying, reduce the suicide rate with LGBT people. And also,
yeah, I understand that's quite an issue at the moment. Yeah.
I think I like to say talking is healthy. It's key.
Yeah, most definitely.
To making healthy.
So do you feel also it's part of it is that it's a mix of school education and parent education. Yeah. So do you think it's the perfect mix? So essentially, you feel that if they're not getting taught at home about this sort of stuff, at least they're getting taught in school. Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of people, I don't know generation wise how it works, but do you think a lot of people parents with kids are having those discussions with children?
Well, the gay parents are, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Besides that, non-homophobic people will teach their children about that. My niece and nephew know that I'm gay. I didn't have to tell them. Because
kids are intuitive, they can understand. Yeah.
Little beings, so they picked up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that it's important not to have children sexualized from a young age. And it's something that we have to do.
Why do you bring that point? Why do you talk about sexualization?
Right now, with the Me Too movement and a lot of people against this LGBT chucked in your face, this gay things everywhere. Right. People are finding it. Some people find it difficult to take this information in, and I don't like it and don't want to see it, and are concerned about their kids seeing it and listening to it. Some of these parents have these
concerns,
and concerns. That's what I'm saying. We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Parents ultimately should have the right to take their child out if they don't want them in there. But then again, there should be rights to protect the laws of the country that we live in, and the society changes. So it is appropriate as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but you would say that as someone who is someone who.
Even if I was
no,
straight,
but
I would say that. And I spoke to some
no, I don't.
Yeah. And they've said the same thing.
But if they didn't, would they turn around and say to you they disagree with you?
My friend Corinne, she's in Birmingham, and she was a child, and she thinks it should be a bit later. But she thinks it's a good idea.
And how old's her child roughly? I'd say.
She's too young anyway. She's or 8. So,
But that's
they're
primary
gonna
school.
They're going to introduce it in year 6, 11. So it'll be like 11.
Oh, so secondary school.
No, I think
I swear.
year 6, you're 10 or 11, aren't you?
No, but I thought secondary school is year 7 onwards, isn't it? Because you're 11 in year 7, I think, and then 12 in year 8. Is that right?
10, 11 in year 6.
Turn 11 in year 6.
Yeah, so
Oh.
primary. Yeah, so 11, they're looking like their last year primary school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not
Yeah,
primary.
because I feel like just...
I think it's like they're gonna do it step by step. But
Yeah.
like I say, what I think should happen is everyone's got a right to see what proposal, how they want to teach this subject.
Yeah.
And also, I think the reason why the government have had to do something
Like this, yeah.
is because the pressures they're getting from the media, the LGBT community. There's a lot of trans children that are coming out whilst at school.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows and things in the media about that. So it's important to protect those trans people that fall in that category because
Yeah.
they're going to be growing up.
Have you seen that Lou Fu thing on this?
Which one?
The Lou Fu thing on
He's
trans
really good,
kids?
that guy. I haven't seen it, but I'll check it
I think
out.
it's on Netflix, maybe.
So, like I said, these are people in society. They may be a small part of the society, but they're still people, and they're still humans, and we need to treat everyone the same. So I think that's why they need to introduce it to schools as well, because
Yeah.
now with these documentaries, some of the trans kids.
So, all right,
if they identify as
Can I ask you another? Yeah, can I ask? Okay, I'm glad you put that up because I'm gonna ask you another form of a question. So let's say say obviously we're roughly say generation wise, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say when we were young, obviously people would. If you thought someone was gay or something, that they'd be a bit victimized or possibly bullied, right? Now, and it would make them feel like they have to hide being it, right? Now, let's say, do you think the similar thing will happen, but the other way? So, for example, if now, because obviously now everyone is more accepting of, well, not everyone, that's not fair, but the majority are more accepting of same-sex relationships, the LBGT community. So let's say in school you've got kids who are in school and everyone's saying that they're like just essentially the other way around. So instead of everyone being bullied and harassed because they're gay, do you think it could get to a stage where kids are being harassed and bullied for being straight because the majority aren't straight? Do you see what I mean?
No.
Do you think that could happen? Because it could happen the other way around.
Point that you said, because a lot of people are worried about this. That a lot of people are like.
Because kids essentially just want to fit in
really
regardless,
scared
right?
That there's going to be this rapid of everyone's going to be gay now.
Right.
I don't think that will happen because the majority of people are heterosexual. It's been proven. There are some people that are.
But then there's people who act heterosexual and not actually
Yeah,
are.
but then that's different because some people are feminine, but they're straight.
Yeah.
Some women are very masculine, but they're straight. etc. So it's all about all the information that we're getting with the science and all this information. We need to listen to it. We can still have our opinion. I didn't understand transgender stuff. I just thought don't want to offend anyone. I just thought, well, they don't want to be gay, so they don't want to change.
Right.
But for my education and learning and seeing,
You've understood a bit more,
It's not that.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It is an actual. I don't know what the word is.
Category almost.
It's I don't know what the word is. What would you say? It's the actual.
Preference, sexual preference, sexual.
Preference.
Is it? Isn't
That's actually a feeling that's been proven by this, psychiatrist that person feels that they're in the wrong body.
Right,
that they
okay.
was born in the wrong
Is I ain't not body
The wrong
dysmorphia.
gender.
That's something else.
Yeah, you're right.
It's form of dysmorphia, isn't it?
Body
Body
dysmorphia. Yeah, that's it.
Dysmorphia.
So that's been recognised now.
Okay.
So that's why I think that's why this education side is coming in now as well. And I think a lot of people are worried because there's been so much information at one time about the community. People feel bombarded.
And the reason why I bring up
overwhelmed.
and the reason why I bring up that situation in particular is the fact that you have to remember that the information you're giving to these are just kids. They're blank canvases.
Yeah.
Everyone's a blank canvas. Well, not everyone, but obviously as we're older, obviously we get more in depth and we grow. But young children, so from 0 to 11, I would say that's primary school kids or whatever, they are sponges, so they seek up everything. So that's why I use the example of now people say the majority of people being gay or identifying as gay or bisexual, and then people who are straight feel victimized. It's like another way round. It's because essentially kids just want to fit in. So if they think all their friends are gay, they're like, oh, I want to be gay. Or do you see? This is like a very basic form, but you understand like now before how it's going to happen before, where people have been gay, and hid it, or have been bullied for being gay, and then they just thought, okay, well, I'll just act like I'm not, you know. So can that go the other way?
No.
Why not? Because if it can go one way and go the other, right?
Like you can't, like you're not born gay, you're a straight man, you knew that straight, you knew that as soon as you're born, you know you're straight, right? I know I'm gay, yeah? So you can't fake, you're either gay or you ain't, you're either, you know, bisexual or sexually, or you're not.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it might increase.
Well, bisexual is a different sort of thing, right? Because bisexual essentially, my understanding is to both genders.
Yeah,
so
genders.
Is that...
You're still part
So is that something, I'm not being disrespectful, but is that something in the same way where if you're born gay, you're born bisexual? Does that make sense?
Yeah, the sexuality is fluid. So they do, it depends on how you view it. I view it as, I feel I was born gay, me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sexuality is also fluid, okay?
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Sexuality is fluid. So they, like I was saying before about the physical, women, men are more attracted physically, so they will look physically, oh yeah, she's nice, or he's nice, whatever, you know? That's more they're attracted to. Whereas women are more attracted to the mind of a person.
Okay, right, I'm with you. Oh, so that's where the fluidity
so
comes
they
in.
need to be attracted to their mind.
And if they happen to be male, they happen to be female, it doesn't matter.
Or
Cause,
appearance or whatever.
okay, right. So it's a combination of physical attractionness and their mind, but you're saying that women essentially are more attracted to someone's mind, generally speaking. So then that means that if they're attracted to their mind and they're male or female, it doesn't matter. Okay, cool, I'm with you.
To be straight and fall for, say, another female, there's less stigma, there's less pressure, there's less. Whereas if a man is bisexual, they get a lot of pressure and.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
But I do think on that point I do think on that point is that men, from another like men and peers situation. So like if men say they're bisexual, which means obviously they sleep with men and women, yeah, or have relations with men and women, whatever. Now, if they decide later on, no, let's say they think they're straight initially, so they have relationships with with women, and then they decide, oh no, they're bisexual. Not decide, but then they're like, okay, I'm bisexual, and then they go, okay, I'm also. And now you're like, oh wait, no, I'm definitely straight because I've kind of understood, and I think I was born straight. Now, from a guy to another guy to his peers, he hasn't got the same level of fluidity to say to his friends, oh, I'm not gay anymore, like I've changed my mind essentially, right? Because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's that kind of that process. But if a woman has relationships with men, is attracted to men initially, and then let's say she might even have a baby with a man, and then later on down the line she's with a woman, no one's really going to question it in the same way they would a man.
And that's correct you saying that, Robert, and this is where the problem is. That's why it's important for education to come in, and labels are all cause a lot of problems, because if you're attracted to someone, you're attracted to someone. You know, gay people have crushes on a woman sometimes. They might just fancy her vagina. 99% of the time, I'm attracted to men. You know, someone, energy or connection, and you feel attracted to a particular next human being. That's why they say sexuality is fluid. But
who says that? You say they.
Fact is.
No, you say they specifically. Is it fact?
That sexuality is fluid. You can look that up. Sexuality is fluid.
I don't fully agree, but okay.
For some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you may not be sexual. You're not sexually fluid. You're straight man. That's how you identify. That's who you are.
Yeah.
Some people are sexually fluid. That's why some people don't.
Oh, well, you've got like not identifying as genders as well and stuff.
Yeah,
on top of that, is that something separate or?
That's something separate. Like.
Was it non-binary? What's non-binary? Do you know what non-binary? What does that mean?
They don't feel they fit in it, either male
or female.
So they don't like to be addressed as a gender. That's why they're bringing in.
They got a box for it. Yeah, so damn. Female, male, and non-binary. Had to fill in the form the other day, and it came up.
For non-binary
Mad.
people, like I don't know what it is.
What do you mean?
But there's different folk categories.
Like asexual.
Say instead of he.
Like Michael Jackson's supposed to be asexual. That's how they say he's like an asexual person.
You say instead of like her for a girl, it's
Yeah.
like a unisex type word, the type of vocabulary that they're introducing now
Oh, that's mad.
for non-binary people. But you know, that's
That's
why
mad.
I just
I didn't know that.
all these new things that
But-
coming out, people that don't know what's offensive,
What's what,
what's
yeah.
not offensive, what's correct,
Yeah.
what's not. That's why we have some proper education in the schools, step by
Yeah.
step, properly, then people will be more
It'll be
secure with
easier for them to
themselves.
think. Yeah.
If they've got a problem or they, want to talk to someone, then they can talk to somebody and not be judged and not feel a particular way.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? So it's yeah. There's a lot, man. There's a lot to think. I mean, at the moment, I'm glad I don't have a child to
Yeah, cause
like talk. Like, yeah, no, just like there's a lot of information to give someone. That's my thing, and
But again, like you say, it depends on the child. Because you can have a child. I was quite mature, like my sisters, they matured a lot more quicker than me, but I was always quite a bit of a kid for longer than them. So, maybe certain information for me as a child maybe need to be given later or earlier. So it can depend on the child. So
I'm gonna ask a question as well. This is just like a generalization. Do you feel that a dynamic of family, let's say, because even in let me say this like this. So even in a same-sex relationship, you have one partner who's slightly more masculine, one who's slightly more feminine.
you
Yeah.
have same in male and female relationships as well. Someone that's more dominant or more
Yeah.
more submissive.
Or more submissive. Yeah. So you have that across the board. Then let's say. So would you say that if I don't know how to put this. If a child has a level of masculine influence and female influence, or if they have, let's say, a higher percentage of one or than another, do you think it affects their way of thinking and affects in some way their sexuality?
No, you can't force sexuality on someone. You can't do that. Someone can fake, like you get straight girls in a threesome and they're not gay.
Right.
They will do something to please their man, or what if they come
Yeah.
up with whatever, or they really enjoy it, don't want to say. So you get these things going on all the time.
All right. So
But
what?
in terms
Yeah.
of a family dynamic,
Yeah. Because in all.
important for if you're in two men together, for example, with a
Yeah.
child, it's important for them to have a female that's a constant, a female adult that is a constant in their life, so an auntie.
Really? But surely that
Because
defeats the thing.
What you're saying about.
Oh, so they
So that they know.
no, but no, because you wouldn't actually, because you're saying that if you have two men, then one will be
No,
more
and
dominant, and
women.
one will be a thing.
Oh, you mean.
So like, let's say you've got obviously let's just generalize and say you've got same-sex relationship, men and women, women and women, man and women,
Yeah.
and so forth. Now my question is that, do you think that if they have the absence of the other person in a family unit, so missing, if it's if or just another half, let's say, do you think that gives them does that limit them in their and prevent them from having a more round perspective of what masculine is and what feminine is? Because we spoke briefly about like toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, and I read something the other day, it was a little while ago now, and it was just like a statistic, and it said that X amount of percent are raised by single mothers, boys, X amount X percent are raised have female teachers, X amount have female this and female that, and then he finishes it with, and they say the problem is toxic masculinity. Surely it's about the lack of masculinity. So essentially what this guy is saying is that, I'll see if I can find it, but essentially what he's saying is there's a lot of female, they're constantly around females and no masculine, no males. So how do they know what masculinity is?
Well, that's down to the single parent to ensure that her child is taught about how to.
But
be
from
a man.
whom?
Well, that's who she chooses. So it could be her father, his grandfather.
Okay.
Her brother, uncle.
Yeah. But you need you.
Or her god.
There needs to be someone, so she couldn't essentially say by herself. Because no matter what way you look at things, a woman cannot fully teach a man how to be a man. Only a man can do that.
Yeah, but this is where.
Same way as a man can't teach a woman to be a woman.
This is coming into, because what is a man? What is it to be a man? What is it to be a woman?
Right.
So, to me, to be a good human being is to be respectful, loving, kind, try to treat your neighbour as yourself.
Yeah.
And be the best person that you can be.
Yeah.
That's what is a good human being is to be.
Yeah.
To be a good man, that definition has changed over time. To be a good man, in my opinion, is to be someone that is a protector, someone that is,
But these,
caring,
yeah.
strong.
Physically, emotionally, mentally. What do you mean? Because
strong within themselves. So they could be a big guy like Big Nasty, for example. But
fat
they
guy.
can still be strong in their mind and strong for, their loved ones.
I feel like from my experience and what I know is that I think there seems to be, and this is kind of where it feeds into the kind of toxic masculinity thing, there seems to be more overcompensation of primal masculine traits than there is of emotional intelligence, emotionally strong. It's more physically, that's how you physically show strength, as opposed to now it should thing. Yeah, but I mean, I don't really have that problem, so I'm fine. So it's fine. But I feel that it's something which needs to be taught, and a lot of people, and this is what's happening with this toxic masculinity situation, is that a lot of people have been taught that it's not okay to cry because they've never seen the men in their family cry, or women are saying their mums or sisters or whatever, oh, boys don't cry, men aren't allowed to cry. So just as much, I feel like there's just as much responsibility needs to be given to women as much as there is men, because whatever way you look at things, parent and child, there's things women are doing to men, there's things women are saying and doing to young men which is misplacing their masculinity. So now, for example, if you have a single woman and she's got a son and she's telling her son who's young, let's say 9 or something, that he's the man in the house and he's this person and that person, he's in charge, that's not right.
Yeah, I don't agree with
that's
that.
not
I had a friend and
that's
she
not
was telling her 7-year-old son that he was the man in the house, and I said to her, you should say that to him.
Because that's undue pressure
because
as well.
One, when he gets to
an
maybe
age
13, he'd be trying to disrespect you and saying he's the man in the house.
Yeah, of course.
One, when you're the woman of the house, there's no man in the house, there's no man. He's the child and she's the woman of the house, adult.
So she's the person in charge because she's an adult, essentially.
So I think that could again the boundaries with the respectful parents,
be blurred.
Can be blurred. You need to respect your parent, and if your parent is a woman and there's no dad or male figure, you need to respect your mum.
But do you agree that in some form in kids' life, whether they're raised by 2 women, 2 men, a man and a woman, that there has to be some sort of male influence or masculine influence? Because you said before about how if a woman's raised with if a guy's raised by a child, is raised by 2 men, they should have a female influence and a female figure. So do you feel the same way about men?
I think that they should be aware, because say for example, if you 2 women and there's obviously not men in your home, but then they have granddad that they see, that's there.
But is that a necessity? So would that be?
I don't think it's a necessity, but I think it's important.
Why is it important?
To teach children again that there's men and women in the world.
Yeah, but they would see that. They would physically see that.
The relationship. Most children will have an extended family.
Yeah.
So they will have a granddad. So that will be a regular male that they see, that they trust, that they can see that's a man.
Yeah.
Their uncle, their cousin.
Well, if they don't have these family structures.
If they don't have them family structures, then it would be
But you're essentially saying they have to.
No, they don't have to.
So you're saying that if they didn't have the granddad or they don't talk to the uncle and all of this,
then I think it would be the parents' responsibility to, like it is most parents, to teach them about the world that we live in and that there are men and
so it's not a necessity, but
but it's a necessary to care about your child and try and.
Oh no, I agree that, but I'm saying it about having someone who is a male, female, or male influence or female influence, that kind of thing. So it's not a necessity. I believe that as just on my situation, I feel like it's important to have some sort of example of what.
You mean just in general, or in same sex?
Well, both really. Both really. I would definitely say that, because I'm trying to look at everything equally, right? The same. So, but I feel that me personally, I feel that someone who's grown up with a lot of sisters and my mum and the rest, I feel like it would be definitely necessary to have a male figure, especially in that environment. Because how is a woman or gonna really tell me about being how to be a good man, and that's and that's, I feel that's important.
Single women have brought up very good, strong men that are straight and powerful
without any male influence whatsoever.
But
I don't know any women like that.
Even if it's when they go into the world, they're going to see teachers, male.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Football coach, then to do football, you know, football.
Some sort of external.
Oh,
So essentially you're saying no. So essentially what you're saying is that it's not a necessity. Well, it is and it isn't a necessity, because then if it's not in the household, it will be somewhere.
We'll be talking to you about, said, this is a good example of a good man or a good lady or someone.
Yeah.
For example.
So it is a necessity in a way.
No, but that's a necessity of parenting as far as I'm concerned. You work with what you have. It's just you.
Oh, right, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a fair point.
If you need to bring in additional stuff, whether that be talking with your child or showing them things, then you should do that. Yeah.
I think that's quite fair. Yeah, I think we should wrap it up now. So on that note, yeah, so Snapbacks and Flat Caps. This is your host Rob here, available on all the socials, including YouTube, where you'll find the visuals for the last few Snapback and Flat Caps episodes. You can also obviously follow me on Twitter and Instagram, etc. Dan Blake Voice will be back on the next one. He is Dan Blake Voice on all the socials, I think, including YouTube. And and so don't forget to listen in as well. I'm on Pulse 88 Radio every Tuesday 7 p.m. till 9. Dan will be following after me, which is 9 p.m. until 11. You can of course listen to Snapbacks and Flat Caps, which is available on iTunes and SoundCloud. We are going to get it on Spotify as well, so you can listen on there. And make sure you subscribe, and subscribe, leave comments, and then there's the stuff that you want us to talk about. Either DM me on Instagram, which is your host Rob, or Twitter, or leave a comment or review, subscribe, and all that good stuff. So have you got any socials and any things that you want to promote as well?
Yeah, I'm give out my Instagram details now, but in the next few weeks to a month I'll be hopefully in with Rob again, and I'll be working on my new page on YouTube. So my Instagram for everyone is Cherry Pie Pie. That's cherry like the fruit, then P-I-E 12 Cherry Pie Pie 12.
Is it two pies? Two peas?
Two pies, yeah.
Oh, so cherry.
No, pies in the cake, you know, like cherry
Yeah,
pie.
so cherry.
Cherry pie, and then pie again, and then 12.
So two pies.
Two pies.
Probably need to get something a bit more
No,
uniform
you see,
there, innit? It's just bit something a bit uniform. Yeah, so make sure you listen back. Obviously, leave comments. Previous ones are up there now. SoundCloud, iTunes as well. So we're out. Catch you guys next time.